Yeah, boom to the hay, all you sports fans out there in the tubosphere, or to you, the individuals part of the collective. Welcome to Fast Track Sports Rock Highlights here on the OMSR. I am your brief but concise host, Will, the alternative ESPN Sports Thrill. Think of this channel as ESPN W. Alright, just give you a brief intro as to what's coming up and why. That's what the catchphraseology means. Sports rack up on display. Fast Track Will, the devastating crossover. Boom, blow by. From the 2 to 4 minute typical talk radio. I've actually shortened it down since the second half of college football. Alright, so this is all taken from, just to let you know what's coming up, from The Herd. More reaction to Sark the Shark leaving UW. And which job is better here in LA? The OMSR is in SoCal, in the greater LA area, so I am qualified to speak to that effect. And like The Herd with Progressive, the sponsor of the OMSR is the DMCA, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. It covers a fair use standard, minimal use, and derivatives. So all the video highlights courtesy to ESPN and to Colin Cowherd, everything else to the OMSR. Okay. So, this city is the only city, I may be misspeaking here somewhat, but I doubt it. I've thought about it for a while. When the segue came up to discuss, and Colin provides it, in the sense of, it's the only city in America with 2 major universities, and not too far from each other, in contrast to the footprint of the greater LA area. I mean, the entire county is like almost half of it is LA and the West San Fan, or the San Fan Valley. The Valley, you know, the Valley Girl too, and all that. Alright, so if you've never been here before, you know, the UCLA campus is, you know, I would say, because it's located so close to Beverly Hills, or within Beverly Hills, in West LA, and there's so many other things going on there, distraction-wise, yeah, the fan base is, he is correct in saying that. Why is the Rose Bowl way up in Pasadena? An hour away, that's on a good day traffic-wise, because there's no good way to get to the Rose Bowl quickly and directly freeway-wise from the location of UCLA, as opposed to USC having everything there on site. And he was talking about, you know, it looks good on paper as opposed to sounds. You know, it sounds good, it looks great on paper. Yeah, you come here from, you know, a cold weather climate, and yes, the winters are mild and nice, but it starts to numb you year after year after year. It's not normal. There are no seasons here. I come from a cold weather climate. I didn't necessarily mind having to deal with snow for a couple months. I mean, sun and cloudless skies day after day after day is monotonous. That's not weather. Alright, it's out of whack. This is only one of 3 places in the world that has the meteorological climate zone applied to it of Mediterranean. So obviously over there in Greece. The other one is Northern Australia, I want to say. There's only 3 places that get this, where like there's a rainy season, and then the rest of the time it's mild. And even during the rainy season, you know, it's rare to get 20 inches of rain a year here. Some places can get that in a month. Alright, if that's your cup of tea, you want to come here and escape from the cold weather, you're only going to be here for a few years. After being here 13 myself, I'm going insane from it. Just kidding. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching. No silly DUIs while you're out there.
About who he might bring in and from Washington or wherever. That's gonna I think fuel some excitement about the program. And of course, across town, you know, with what's happening at UCLA and Jim Mora, that's going to be an interesting situation as well. But I think more than anything, what SC gets with SARKISIAN coming in is he just hits the ground running. It is seamless in a lot of ways in terms of there's no reintroduction or getting to know the landscape in terms of recruiting in Southern California. These guys all know him. And instead of, like you had mentioned, you know, recruiting them to go play in the rain, it's like now your dream school is here, and you know, and I'm the coach.
Quickly, last night, 7 o'clock, he had his first meeting with the team. What do we know? How did they react to Sark when he sat in front of the players for the first time, Gary?
You know, I think, Colin, that they were so numb from what happened during the day. I mean, they really, I can't overstate enough, those players loved Orgeron and what he did for that program, and I think they were drained. Watching them walk into the McKay Center for that meeting, I don't want to say it's not like they were resigned or anything to the fact that they had to sit through another one, but I just think that they've been through a lot. That team and those players have been through a lot. I think he was well received by most because he knows a lot of them from having recruited them, trying to convince them to go to Washington. And the seniors, he was probably recruiting a lot of those when he was at SC. So I think it's going to take time. He acknowledged that he told them that Max Brown told us, he told them, I'm not going to win everyone of you guys over in a day, but he's hoping as it goes along that, the malaise will lift from Orgeron's departure, and they'll get back to work.
Gary Klein, LA Times. Good talking to you.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance.
Yeah, there's all sorts of rumors on Jim Mora. I think Mora's going to stay at UCLA, although UCLA's always been one of those looks better from the outside than the inside kind of industries. Like some jobs, you're like, oh, it looks like a great job, and then you go work at the place, and you're like, bad workplace environment, bad bosses, bad culture. UCLA's football stadium's an hour from campus. It's a public university in a state that's bankrupt. Therefore, there's a problem. Every coaching assistant hire and salary gets published. You have to get it okayed by a board. They're very strict on academics. UCLA is a terrific university. UCLA football just doesn't pay what USC does. USC's private. They don't have to publish salaries. They can pay an assistant $1 million. UCLA barely paid Neuheisel $1 million to be a head coach. Okay, they were paying Lane like $4 million. So USC can pay any of its assistants double the league average. UCLA, and remember, you get cost of living expenses in Los Angeles. So UCLA football, that's why Mora is smart. He keeps using these other opportunities to get his assistants money so he won't lose them. But UCLA didn't pay anything to their assistants because they just can't. They don't. It's not an athletic department. It's one of those athletic departments that sounds great on paper. It wins. It vies for the Sears Cup because they're good in tennis. But their fan support is minimal. If they go to a bowl game, they'll take 1,200 people. If they went to the Las Vegas Bowl, they'd take 1,200 people.
Well, I got to chime in here.
Sun Bowl, they'd take 2,000.
UCLA campus,
It's
you've
like
never
Miami
been to
Hurricanes.
LA here.
It's a pro
Sunset
sports
Boulevard.
town. And UCLA
There's so many other distractions going on. It's right there by
it's a very international
Wilson
university.
District.
USC
downtown Beverly Hills.
Like Southern California. That's where rich Southern Californians send their kids to go to business and film school and communication school.
And law.
It really feels it's in downtown Los Angeles. It's different. UCLA feels somewhat removed. Their stadium's way off campus. I'm not saying it's a bad job. I'm saying it looks much sexier to people in Ohio or the outside. Ooh, the sun. Ooh, the fun. Flashy uniforms. Throw the ball. L.A. It's not a school where you can compete for national titles on an annual basis. That's just the reality of what UCLA football is. So, and I also think we live in a different time. It's not 1991. I've told this story a lot. That what really changed in America is when ESPN, and let's just get past it. We have influence, okay? We do. Of all the sports networks in this country, there's 31 national. We're the biggest by far. We have some influence in a lot of different areas. Start time for games, start times for conferences, bowl game alignments, narrative, what we cover. ESPN, when I got to this company a decade ago, aired 50 college games. 50 college football games. Now we air 600. How did that change things? It used to be kids had to play in the north to get on TV. Nebraska, Washington, Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, Notre Dame.
Boston
Not the case
College.
anymore. They can just stay close to home. Everybody's on TV 9 times a year. And so it is tougher for the Washingtons and Nebraskas and Notre Dames to get elite athletes up to their neck of the woods. They'd rather play for LSU, Georgia, Florida, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Texas, Texas A&M, Arizona State, USC. It changed everything. So a lot of these programs like Nebraska and Washington and Penn State that were just bellwether programs in the 90s, they don't put together the same level recruiting classes. They don't. Sark was winning 7, 8 games this year, potentially 9. Washington is no longer a program that can win a national title on an annual basis. They were 20 years ago. They aren't today. It's a really good program. It's not a top 10 program. I've had NFL general managers tell me that Keyshawn Johnson always jokes it's a fake great program. Players want to go to warm weather. They want to stay close to their friends. Warm weather, a lot of pretty girls on campus, 72 in the winter. That's what the kids want to go play.
You can't drive to 7-Eleven without seeing 3 bangs. 5-minute quickie.
Generally, we gravitate to warm weather, not cold. We vacation warm, not cold.
I'm just
the
OMSR being here in SoCal.
I think Mora will stay at UCLA. But I'll tell you this, if Texas offered, Mora would be out the door in 2 minutes. Be out the door in 2 minutes. It'd be stupid not to go. That's not a shot at Jim Mora. If Texas offers the job, Todd Graham at Arizona State, be out the door in a minute. Better job. I think Texas is the best job in the country. I kind of got this theory that, if you marry somebody, it's okay if they have like a flaw. But you got to be careful when they have like 2 or 3 flaws. Like, let's say you meet a girl, and this is really a Rex Ryan topic. If you meet a girl and she's really nice and she's really smart and she's got a great family and you really love her, but she smokes, you'd be like, I can overlook that. But let's say she has 2 problems. Like, she's really smart and you love her and she's got a great family, she smokes, and she also has a dead tooth. Oh, boy. I don't know about that. I can't go smokes and dead tooth. I'm sorry. I love you and stuff, but I'm going to go for the girl without a dead tooth. And nobody's anti-anything. He smokes, got a dead tooth, and multiple tramp stamps. Now, off the schedule, today, make a call, pay him off. 2 things make smart men dumb: sports and beautiful women. Screaming and yelling at each other. Fantastic. Yeah, okay, because you said the top half of the Big Ten was pretty good, and you stopped at about 2.5 teams.
Right. I just think that it's pretty balanced at the top. I don't think there's a...
Yeah, it is pretty balanced. It's crappy balanced. It's all really outside of Ohio State. It's all really mediocre.